Hello friends, welcome to our Rockstar Virat Power YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to learn about the next topic, that is English Literature chapter 9. In that the romantic age and that romantic age we are going to learn about William Wordsworth. तर या व्हिडिओमध्ये आपण विल्यम वर्ड्सवर्थ यांच्याबद्दल माहिती घेणार आहोत आणि तुम्हाला असेच अत्यंत महत्त्वपूर्ण व्हिडिओची सिरीज पाहण्याकरिता इंग्लिश लिटरेचर स्टडी करण्याकरिता आपल्या चॅनलला सबस्क्राइब करणं फार गरजेचं आहे, म्हणजेच तुम्हाला याबद्दलचे नोटिफिकेशन प्राप्त होतील. यामध्ये आपल्याला जेव्हा आपण स्टडी करतो इंग्लिश लिटरेचर, we have to study about that any points like within like romantic age, then old English literature, then modern English literature in this section wise. And in this we have previously known that various topics we have to study, like Anglo-Norman, age of Chaucer, then the age of revival, age of Elizabethan, the Puritan and Restoration age, neoclassical and Augustan age, then the seventh or then most that topic comes like romantic age. म्हणजे या विविध एजेसचा आपल्याला अभ्यास करायचा आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये आपण रोमॅन्टिक एज मधील जो मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टंट जो आपल्यासाठी रायटर आहे विल्यम वर्ड्सस्मिथ, याबद्दल आपण माहिती घेऊया. तर यामध्ये हा जो विल्यम वर्ड्सवर्थ आहे याचं म्हणजे बायोग्राफी कशी आहे, त्याने कोणते कोणते वर्क्स लिहिलेले आहेत, त्याचे कोणते वर्क्स आपल्याला परीक्षेच्या दृष्टिकोनातून, दॅट मीन्स विच वर्क्स आर मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टंट फॉर अस इन द नेट सेट प्रिपरेशन, अँड विच टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन्स आर आस्क्ड फ्रॉम दिस this writer. So we are going to study this writer in detail, so you have to see all the video carefully. Some important quick facts you can see here, but I will go like deeply, so that we will read this chapter carefully and we can like give answer when question is asked in our exam. British poet William Wordsworth was born at Cockermouth in Cumberland in 1770. You can see here. Then his father John Wordsworth was an attorney. Wordsworth's parents died when he was very young. He was most of people like gives a reason like why I have not achieved any success, but you can see the William Wordsworth parent died when he was very young, and his mother died when he was only 8, and his father died when he was 13. And after his mother's death, Wordsworth was sent in Hawkshead Grammar School near Windermere, and later he was sent to St. John's College. Okay, then Cambridge, and where he developed a radical political views. He developed himself like political views, so that his life changes tremendously. What happened then? He made his debut as a writer in 1787. He made his debut as a writer in 1787, and he published a sonnet, that is the European magazine. The European magazine. You have to remember that various त्यांनी कोणते कोणते कामं केलेली आहेत हे आपल्याला लक्ष ठेवावे लागतात, कारण आपल्याला बरेचसे वेळेस याच्यावरच प्रश्न असतात. ॲज अ वी आर लर्निंग अबाउट English literature, that's why like magazine. Then what happened? See, Wordsworth went on a walking tour of France and witnessed the French Revolution of 1790. See, in 1790 what happened? He returned the following year and had an affair with Annette Vallon. He had an affair with Annette Vallon, and the result of which was an illegitimate daughter, Anne Caroline. Financial constraint and turbulent political events forced him to return England in 1793. मीन्स त्याचं जी पहिली बायको आहे ती आहे ॲनेट व्हॅलोन, आणि काही म्हणजे तिथे सिव्हिल वॉर जे होतं त्यांचा, मग त्यामुळे त्यांना काय झालं की पॉलिटिकल इव्हेंट्समुळे त्यांना रिटर्न यावं लागलं इंग्लंडला त्यांच्या डॉटरला न पाहता. Wordsworth was reunited with his sister Dorothy in 1794, in which in 1794 he moved with his sister a Residown Lodge on the Devon Somerset border, and it was here that he met the poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge. We have to learn about this Samuel Taylor also, because he is also a notable writer, and we are going to learn about him also. That is Samuel Taylor Coleridge. He moved closer to Coleridge and Alfoxden House, and they collaborated on the published lyrical ballads in 1798, which began with Coleridge's Rime of the Ancient Mariner and ended with Wordsworth Tinted Abbey. And around 1798, Wordsworth began writing a large and philosophical autobiographical poem, and completed in 1805 and published posthumously in 1850 under the title of Prelude. Okay, Prelude. It is called as Prelude. In 1799, Dorothy and Wordsworth moved to Grasmere in the Lake District. 3 years later, Wordsworth married Mary Hutchinson. His other collection are poems in 2 volumes, which includes the poem Ode to Duty. See, the poem is include Ode to Duty, and Resolution and Independence and Intimation of Immorality, The Excursion, and Ladomia. In 1843, Wordsworth succeeded Robert Southey, that is 1774 and 1843, as England's poet laureate. He died in 1850 and was buried in Grasmere churchyard. Now, see, we have learned about his lifespan, his biography. We have to know about his notable works. See, you can see various notable works written by him. Like first one is like The Solitary Reaper, The Prelude, then Lyrical Ballads, The World is Too Much with Us, Ode Intimation and of Immorality, then Lines Composed a Few Miles Above Tinton Abbey, Michael, then Peter Bell, The Excursion, and The Reunited Cottage. Then if we are reading about their notable works for set-net preparation, you have to focus on lyrical ballads first. Lyrical ballads with few other poems, like in 1798. We will see some important points regarding that also. His style is he is in romanticism period, and he is lake poet, and his subject of study is poetry, and notable family member is his sister, that is Dorothy Wordsworth. Then we have to know about early life and education, which we have we have studied. You can see Wordsworth was born in the Lake District of Northern English, and the second 5 children of modestly prosperous estate manager. So you can learn from this his early life, how he is dealing with every situation happened with it. Now we have to know that why we are saying William Wordsworth is important, because William Wordsworth in 1770 to 1850 produced some of the greatest English poem in the late 700 to early 1800. In contrast to the decorum of much 18th century verse, he wanted to relate situation from common life in language really used by men, embodying the spontaneous overflow of feelings recollect in tranquility, preface of lyrical ballads in 1802. In this way, then that's why we are studying about him. Then what was the William Wordsworth childhood? We know, but we have to find it out a small answer you can easily remember for that examination. William Wordsworth grew up in the Lake District of Northern England. There he spent much of his boyhood playing outdoors and exploring the mountains and lake-strewn valleys you can see, fostered alike like then by beauty and by fear, as he would later testify in his autobiographical poem The Prelude or Growth of Poet's Mind. Then you can see like what did William Wordsworth write. What did William Wordsworth write? Then he writes steered simultaneously by walks in the England countryside, by his relationship with his sister like Dorothy, and English poet critic Samuel Taylor Coleridge. William Wordsworth wrote of his major works during the great decades in 1797 to 1808. In that great work he includes like Tinton Abbey, The Solitary Reaper, and Resolution and Independence, and then Ode Intimation of Immorality, and The Prelude. You have to remember all these points are like because these points can be asked in our net set exam, so you have to remember all this. Then lyrical ballads, we have to study about that. Preface of the lyrical ballads. The lyrical ballads were first published in 1798, you can see, by Samuel Taylor, then Coleridge, and William Wordsworth. This work is done by both of the members like Samuel Taylor and William Wordsworth. Then what happened? The appearance of which is often designed by scholars as a signal of the beginning of English Romanticism. This is the start of English Romanticism. The work includes Coleridge's Rime of the Ancient Mariner and Wordsworth's Tinton Abbey, as well as many controversial common language poems by Wordsworth such as The Idiot Boy and the preface to the second edition in 1800, and contains Wordsworth's famous definition of poetry as the spontaneous overflow of powerful feeling, and his theory that poetry should be written in the language really used by men. See, in this lyrical ballads, it was only the second edition or published in 1800. It is the second edition, and that preface was added, and lyrical ballads consist of 23 poems. So you have to remember how much poems consist it. It consists of 23 poems, 4 by Coleridge and the rest by Wordsworth. Only 4 by Coleridge and rest by with the help of Wordsworth. The preface to the lyrical ballads is regarded as romantic manifesto, whereas Wordsworth sets out the rule for new kind of poetry and poetic theory. New kind of poetry is introduced. You can like easily understand. It declares the English Romantic movement. Wordsworth and Coleridge, with the publication of lyrical ballads, break away with the neoclassical tendency in poetry. Wordsworth claims to be breaking away from the artificially triviality in over-elaborate and contrived quality in 18th century poetry and charting a new course. He states that he had chosen incident and situation from common life and described them in a simple and natural language really used by men. He described that language really used by men. The subject matter of his poetry is not the reach of the powerful, not humble, rustic folk. He states that the language of the people who live in close communion with nature is purified from all real defects and less under the influence of social vanity. Less under the influence of social vanity. You can understand like social vanity. Okay, then we are going to find some important points also. Like he describes good poetry as spontaneous overflow of powerful feeling and end of poetry to produce excitement and coexistence with an overbalanced pleasure. He described poet as a man speaking to men, a man endowed with more lively sensibility, more enthusiasm and tenderness, who has a greater knowledge of human nature and a more comprehensive soul than one supposed to be common among mankind. Dr. William Darwin described the different stages of Wordsworth's theory of poetic creation. First, the poet encounters a commonplace incident which for reason unknown at the time of arouses the powerful feeling in his mind. At a later time, when he is far away from the incident, can see it only in his mind, the poet looks back calmly and the feeling arouses by this incident. Suddenly his mind becomes agitated to the point that it's called as facsimile to the original feeling he had experienced. At the point, having proceeded through three sequences of powerful feeling like tranquil assessment and recreation of the powerful feeling in his mind, and the poet ready to write. This is an important points regarding the preface of lyrical ballads, and this work is written by Coleridge and Wordsworth. You have to remember this one. And excerpt from what Wordsworth preface to the lyrical ballad, you have to go that Wordsworth lyrical ballads in detail also, so that you can answer the questions regarding asked from that points. Like the preface to the lyrical ballad is regarded as romantic manifesto where Wordsworth elaborates his poetic theory, and Coleridge Biographia Literaria contains great literary criticism and lyrical ballads consisted of 23 poems. We have already known about that. 23 poems, 4 by Coleridge and rest by Wordsworth. Wordsworth's romanticism was in search of sublime moments as well as beauty in the lives of simple and rural people. Then you also know that Lord Byron was the prototypical romantic hero, the every and the scandal of the age, rebellious, irreverent and erotical inclined. So these are the important points you have to go through while preparing for the SETNET exam preparation. Okay, then we have to learn much more points like about various work written by the Williams Wordsworth. You can see like the prelude is also an important work written by William Wordsworth. Now we will see some important point regarding the prelude. Wordsworth autobiographical poem is like the prelude, and the prelude was begun in 1799. You have to get a point, an idea, because lot of numberings are there and you can't remember all that one in a very well way, and it is not useful or fruitful for us to get marks in the SETNET examination. The first version containing 2 books was published in 1799, and after his death 1850 remaining of 14 books. The poem is subtitled with the Growth of Poet's Mind, an autobiographical poem. It is an account of Wordsworth's growth and development as a poet. Then Wordsworth begins the poem by describing the impact of the natural world had on childhood by describing its beauty and richness, as he states, "To more than infant softness, giving me among the fretful dwelling of mankind a knowledge dim earnest of the calm which nature breathes among the field of growths." He described his passage from childhood animal pleasure through adolescent sensual passion for the wild and gloomy to the adult awareness for the relation of our perceptions and the natural world, finally to our sense of the humankind and moral world. The influence of French Revolution also forms a major part of this poem. You have to know which poem had influence about the French Revolution of William Wordsworth. Then you have to answer the question like the prelude. Wordsworth described his early ages of political distantness and towards the cause of French people to his days active involvement in the cause of finally growing disenchantment towards cause as a result of failure of ideals and associated with the revolution. Richard Clarke described Wordsworth's poem as a lyrical, bladensman and chronological structure, and the 14 books are as follow. You have to remember that 14 books also, because we had the question regarding that also. In book 1 and book 2, we know about the childhood and school time experience very much enamored and with nature. In book 1 and book 2, it is childhood, regarding to the childhood experience. Then for book 3, resident at Cambridge University, growing alienation from nature and self absorption. In book 4, what is given as? In book 4, summer vacation is given. In book 5, describe the book he read. He describes the book he read. Then in book 6, his experience at Cambridge University and on walking expedition in the Alps Epitaphy on one climb where he sees into the life of things and by which a sense of balance between self and not self, the mind and the nature is restored by the insight that everything physical manifests the presence of the spiritual. And in book 7, what is given as in book 7? In book 7, the residents in London depressing first hand encounters with the downtrodden. Like residents, what is given as residents? It is given as residents in London depressing first hand encounters with the downtrodden, the disenfranchised, an example of man's inhumanity to man's. In book 8, what is given as? In book 8, restorative insight how the love of nature leads to the love of man. Love of nature to the love of man. Love of nature. It is given to love of nature to the love of man. And in book 10, he gives his experience in France both before and after the revolution, and their negative impact upon him, his disappointment with the bloody outcome of the French Revolution, because he don't because of that French Revolution he can't meet his small girl also. In 12 and 13, he given the climax of the poem while climbing Mount Snowdon. Wordsworth has another epiphany. Thanks to the imagination, self and other exist in harmonious balance. In book 14, what is given as? In book 14, it is given as conclusion. Conclusion is given in the book 14. And what was that? Key concept of Wordsworth prelude is the spot of time. Key concept is about the spot of time. You have to remember these points because questions are asked, so that I am telling in detail. Spots of time, and these are the epiphanic moments where ordinary everyday events and entitled appeared extraordinary, and transcendent became charged through the creative imagination with enormous physical, emotional and spiritual meaning. These spots of time have a renovating virtue. They nourish our minds and enhance pleasure. They are intense emotional experience in life that could be recalled by the imagination to revitalize and renew poetic strength. Example of these are the boat stealing episode and in the opening of the book and the ascent of Mount Snowdon. In this way, we have learned about the prelude and the important points regarding the prelude. Now, I think you have all you must have all understand the points regarding that William Wordsworth, because William Wordsworth is important, have to study this poet. It is an important poet we have to ready. We have to study. You can see various small facts notable words. You will point it out in your notebook also, so that you can answer that questions whenever asked regarding this poet. And when we are going to start our question answer series, then you will find the questions and answer. You can get that answer very correctly because with the help of these videos. So till then, see you soon, and in our next video we are going to learn about the Samuel Taylor, important writer, that is Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Okay, till then, see you soon, bye.